Hi guys, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Yvonne Princess Shabango. If you are new here, you're welcome to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And voila, you're part of the graceful, the beautiful, and the wonderful family. I'm sure you're wondering, why am I looking so bright and alive? I mean, it's September, guys. We're speaking life and we're looking bright and alive and all of that. So yeah, we're back with another Employment Wednesdays video. Happy Wednesday, happy employment. This is a day for you to actually share your pause. It's a day for you to actually pray for a person looking for a job. If you know them by name, mention them to God by name. To actually say, hey God, I need Yvonne to get promoted. I need Yvonne to get retained as an associate, please. I need Yvonne to get a salary increase, say those kind of things. Speak to God, because sometimes we focus so much on me, but God actually wants us to serve. And sometimes service is not doing a physical thing. Sometimes actually just praying for a next person and all of that. So today is your day to actually pray for a person searching for a job. Share your pause, even if it's an hour, even if it's 30 minutes, but take your time to do something to decrease the unemployment rate in the country, because we live in a world where unemployment rate is so high. It's crazy and it's ridiculous and all of that, but I mean, this is where we are, and we can all make a difference by doing something, whether it's sharing a job post, sharing an opportunity or whatever. But yeah, let's make a difference. Let's help one another. Sometimes it could even be helping somebody draft a cover letter, helping somebody draft a CV, all of those kind of things. Those are the things that actually help us get a step forward, So yeah, today we are going to talk about the famous and the popular, the babes Dumo of the funding schemes. Yeah, Nsfas. We're going to talk about Nsfas, and then we're going to talk about other bursaries that you can rely on, and we're going to talk about why you should look into investing into applying for other bursaries as opposed to just relying on Nsfas, right? Like, I didn't know what Nsfas stood for. I only knew about Nsfas around about grade 12 because yeah, like I was just focused on doing well, passing and all of that, and that was that, right? But also, before going into Nsfas and other bursaries that you can apply for, I'd like to send a special shout out to oh my god, guys, let me just please give me a second so that it turns down. Okay, yeah, it's okay now. So I'd like to give a special shout out to Nedbank. Thank you so much, Nedbank. I am a master's holder because Nedbank did its part. Thank you so much to the University of Johannesburg. I am a master's holder because UJ played a part. Thank you very much to Ford, the car company. Played a part in my funds and my postgrad studies. Yeah, it's been such a journey. It's been a surreal journey. I'll tell you firstly from my first year. In my first year of my studies, right, I technically thought Nsfas did not pick me. I remember I was so worried, and my best friend kept on trying to comfort me and say, no, don't worry, there's no way you wouldn't get Nsfas. You did so well. You're one of the best candidates in the country and all of that, because I really did well for my matric, right? But I wasn't so worried because I knew that I had been provisionally elected for Orange Carpet from my grade 11 results, because like, they were outstanding, right? So I was provisionally selected for Orange Carpet, and then finally, when results came out, I was officially elected to be part of the Orange Carpet candidates, and I had 100% off my fees because I had about 5 or 4 distinctions, if I'm not mistaken. My lowest mark was 68, and all my marks were 75 and above, and my highest mark was 92. Like, guys, grade 12 negijabuka. Like, I really wish I still had that energy. Like, I really wish I still had that energy, because I was on my beast mode. Like, I knew what I wanted. I was like, not that I don't know what I want anymore, but the energy is low, guys. Now we are busy getting more 65, more 70, and all of those kind of results, So yeah, after doing so well in my matric, got elected to be part of the Orange Carpet. Orange Carpet, if you get a certain SP score, I think my SP score was over 46, if I'm not mistaken, you had 100% off, and they'll give you 5,000 rand for your books, and then also they would give you a free iPad. Like, it was so nice being an Orange Carpet student. And then also they would pay for a registration, but because I'm forward, I like things done on time. I was very panicky about when I would get registered, so I asked my parents to pay for my registration fee, of which they did. They paid for the registration fee, and then UJ covered my first year fees, all of them completely, right? Here I'm stressed, Nsfas is stressing me, but at least my first year is covered. And then whilst I was at it, I had Nedbank contact me. Nedbank gave me an allowance bursary whereby they were funding my food allowance. We got about a thousand rand or 1.2 to actually shop from Pick and Pay, ShopRite, and all of that. You could get anything you want, just that to bump up the allowances that we already have. And then they paid a portion of my school fees. I'm very grateful to Nedbank. And then also because I think there's an incentive by UJ when you get distinctions somewhere in some subjects, they actually take off a portion of your fees. I also qualified for that in some years of my studies, and then Nsfas probably paid a quarter of my fees, really, like one third if I'm not mistaken, really. Yeah, it's probably, I think I owe them less than 80,000 rand, because yeah, they didn't really pay much of my fees and all of that. And then looking at also Ford, guys, I'm so grateful to God, because I've actually had the best part of my academic journey. I've never had to suffer so much for funding. I've never had to struggle a lot with my academics. Funding, their grades, everything has always been aligned. When I was studying my postgrad, I didn't have money. Like, I woke up, decided I'm going to go for a master's in banking law. I didn't have money. My mom was willing to pay for that, but also I looked at it. I have siblings, guys. My siblings are like 6 years old. And for me, it felt very much unfair for my mother to be funding a master's that's like 48,000 rand a year or more, given that I still had to buy textbooks and all of those things. So I thought it was a bit unfair, right? But I just kept on praying to God, doing what I could. And then UJ Internal Busaries contacted me, told me that I've been selected as one of Ford Busaries. I should complete the forms, completed them. Ford cleared out all my debt. I don't owe anyone. I'm debt free. I don't know if Nsfas is going to come for me for their 80K, but I can give it to them. Maybe I'm not selfish. I can give it to them so that other students that want to be funded by Nsfas can actually be funded. So I'm so grateful to UJ, Nedbank, Ford, and even Nsfas as well. Forever grateful. So let's go into Nsfas. What does Nsfas mean in full? Nsfas means National Student Financial Aid Scheme, right? That's what it means. It's a government bursary that actually focuses in ensuring that the poor or people that come from underprivileged homes actually further their studies at university level. So looking at Nsfas and looking at the country, guys, we know that we live in a country whereby poverty is still a thing. Poverty is at its highest. Unemployment is at its highest. We still have provinces that don't have proper schools, provinces that don't have proper toilets. So with Nsfas, the government is trying to ensure that we don't stop at grade 10, grade 11 and all of that, but we actually elevate to tertiary studies in a public institution. You need to be South African. That's the down part about it if you're an international student, but also if you're an international student, you can always apply for other bursaries, which I'm going to talk about as the video goes on. And I have done a video on Instagram where one of my friends, who's actually in the United Kingdom right now, spoke about his journey as an international student and how he only paid also a portion of his fees cash, but most of his fees were funded by different bursaries and different institutions. So it's very, very important that you actually not just rely on Nsfas, but you actually apply for other bursaries as a second option, or as or as your number one option. I'd say apply for Nsfas and then also apply for other bursaries. And I'm sure you keep on wondering which bursaries. I am going to talk about these bursaries. And then now I want to tell you guys something. Here's why. Okay, how do you qualify for Nsfas, right? You qualify for Nsfas is if you're from an underprivileged home. At your home, combined, your parents, they earn less than 350,000 rand per annum. And then also if you're disabled, less than 600,000 rand per annum. And if you're a SASSA beneficiary, automatically you qualify. And there's a various documentations that they will require that you need to comply with, of which if you guys want me to do a video, if you want to know more about that, you can send me a DM at YV_graceful on Instagram. Then I'll be able to assist you in every possible way that I can. And then that's just about it. And then also, guys, the reason why I'd say you cannot just rely on Nsfas. Number one, the whole country is relying on Nsfas, and there's this sense of entitlement that Nsfas must pay, Nsfas must accept you. And that's the thing, that's not how things work. So to avoid any inconsistencies, you need to ensure that you're not just relying on Nsfas. You need to ensure that you have an option B. And that's another thing. In the first year, when you're in your first year, Nsfas sometimes takes time due to the volume of applications. They pay late and all of that. If you've got a bursary, they pay on time. All things are done on time. You don't have to worry about your registration being done late. And sometimes some people end up losing their spaces in the universities because they're waiting for Nsfas to pay. And I'm sure you don't want that. That's a stress I didn't want in my first year. A stress that I don't want now. So it's always better when everything is done on time. And yeah, so looking at Nsfas, why you can't just rely on Nsfas. I'm told right now, currently Nsfas gives students, actually it's been like this for the past years, I think, Nsfas gives you 5,200 for books or stationery, textbooks, right? That's illogical, and I would really, really request that Nsfas bumps that up, or just look at it from a perspective of what course are you doing, and let you send them a book quotation, and then they give you the amount you require. Because there's like engineering students whereby one drawing board or pencil or whatever they use is like worth 10,000 rand. What are they supposed to do with 5.2? I know for a fact that in my first year, all my textbooks, although I didn't buy all, but all my textbooks quoted me about 8,500, which is still a shortfall. Yes, 5.2 is something, but let's look at, rather fund few people and give them the best of it, as opposed to trying to spread it up and give them less, you know? So yeah, if you are going to use a bursary is going to ask you to give them a book quote or a quotation of whatever that you need. Then they're going to give you, some people will tell you, okay, your cap is 20,000 for stationery, or your cap is 10,000 for stationery, or just send us your stationery quotation and then we're going to send in the money, or we're going to give you a voucher so that you get in the stationery. So for me, that makes more sense, and it makes you live in a less stressed environment. Because imagine, let's just say you're generally from a completely poor background, you get 5,200, which is not all textbooks, and you still have to hustle for other textbooks. Or let's just say you're the only hope for your family, you still have to hustle. Where do you hustle from? Or you're from the rural areas, you don't know what to sell, where to work, or what to do. So I think if Nsfas would come up with actually funding students in its entirety, like funding students fully and adequately, and then ensure that also those students, maybe they should actually look at placing them in employment after actually having funded them. Because that's another thing, you get this funding, you get this degree, but you remain unemployed, which is why you should actually also opt for applying for bursaries in other institutions, because I know other institutions are always willing to employ you, they consider you when they have vacancies opened. And it actually, one, it curbs the whole thing of illiteracy, because we have a high illiteracy rate in the country, we've got high unemployment in the country, and yeah, it's a lot, right? So how these institutions work, like for instance, I know with Nedbank, right, they're gonna fund you, right, depending on the terms of your bursary. They will fund you. You have to ensure that you get good grades. After you get good grades, sometimes you get to do vacation work at Nedbank, and if there is a position in relation to the course that you're doing, they actually let you do work within that field, and then at some point they offer you employment. And also bursaries differ. Some bursaries say, you get this bursary, you have to work for us for a period of 5 years, not for free, we pay you, and then life goes on, you know. And then some bursaries say, if you don't want to work for us, you forfeit the bursaries, you're going to have to pay us later on. But I love how they beat two birds with one stone: fund you, get you employment, get you ready for real life and the real world, right? So don't just rely on Nsfas, guys. Nsfas is overcrowded. There's just too much people, and your chances of not being fully funded are very high. You're going to be stressed out. The least stress you need is you not getting funding and you not being fully funded, and all of that. It's not good, right? So I'm going to refer to my notes, right, guys. I'm going to share bursaries that you can apply it, and this is what I'm going to preach for the rest of the year, right? I'm going to preach this for the rest of the year. Actually for the rest of my life until Christ comes. You have to research, you have to do your research, you have to network, you have to have a LinkedIn profile, because that's where you meet recruiters, that's where you meet your talent acquisition people, the people that deal with bursaries and all of those kind of things, internships. you know, all of those things, in-house service training and all of those things. So you are going to need to research, you are going to need to have your LinkedIn and network, attend conferences and webinars. That's where you meet your mentors. Also, guys, have mentors. I have over 10 mentors. Some of them don't know that they are my mentors. I just aspire through their lives. I just see their lives and look at them as examples and try and implement how they live their lives. And that's another thing. Mentor-mentee relationship doesn't have to be, oh, let's sit down, let's have coffee, what have you done? Sometimes you can actually be mentored by a person you've never met. You can be mentored by a person you've met only once because of how they lead their lives and all of that. So also get rid of that mind that for you to have a mentor, you have to sit down and talk to the person. Because also the life we're living currently is a busy one, because sometimes we don't have time to actually sit down and meet. I know there's people that look up to me. I know there's people that see me as their mentors, and I'm there living my best life, but they see me as their mentor because of the wisdom I share, the knowledge I share with them and all of that. So get yourself a mentor, because also it opens up your network. You get to meet different types of people. You get to meet people that can actually open doors for you. So one, you can apply for a bursary with ABSA. Going to their websites, they normally share. You can apply with ABSA, Nedbank. I know ABSA, Nedbank, Standard Bank. They have bursaries or student programs that you can look into. And then Ford funded me, and Nedbank funded me as well. We can look at TASESA. You can look at CETA. You can look at internal bursaries. Also, universities have internal bursaries. And then you can look at Weber Wenzel in terms of law. Weber Wenzel has a legal, if you're a law student, they offer bursaries. Check them out on their websites. It's always there, or even on Leaply. You've got Clyde & Co. for all your law students. Also, you've got Fasken has a bursary as well, and then you've got other law firms that offer bursaries, so look into that as well. And then you've got Toyota actually offers bursaries, and then sometimes you don't have to apply for those bursaries. They actually contact you and let you know that, hey, would like to pay for your fees because we noted that your academic record is good. And also I know with UJ, right, sometimes you get randomly selected for bursaries because of how great your academic record is. You don't have to apply for them. I'm not sure if in every university there is that incentive whereby actually you get randomly selected because your grades are good and all of that. So yeah, those are some of the institutions that you guys can look into. But a lot of corporate companies have bursaries, and the nice thing about those bursaries, after you're done studying and all of that, they're usually willing to pay for your postgrad studies. They're even usually willing to employ you. So that's a good one. You've got a job, your studies are fully funded, and you have one job, just to focus, be disciplined, and get good grades. One. Actually, yeah, just, okay, maybe it's 3 things that you need to do. You have to be disciplined, you have to be focused, you have to get good grades, maintain them, because some will tell you, like I know with Nedbank, they told me that I needed to maintain an average of 65%, which I did. Some people tell you you need to maintain an average of 70%, of which I did. So guys, it's very, very, very important that you don't rely on Nsfas, guys. There's a lot of students there, and you may jeopardize your future by just waiting on Nsfas because it might not fund you. And I feel like it doesn't fund you fully. If you want a full experience of university, apply for Nsfas and apply for another bursary that will be able to fund you everything you need so that you don't have any excuse or anything like that. So yeah, if you have any questions about Nsfas, DM me on Instagram at YV_graceful. So like I said, Nsfas is a government fund. It can't work in private institutions. It's only at public institutions. And then you need to earn below or at 350,000, both your parents. If you're disabled, 600,000, both your parents. And then if you're a SASSA beneficiary, automatically you qualify. And then it's only for South African citizens. For all my international honeys, you can actually check those institutions that are counted out. I know that companies like both Standard Bank and both Nedbank, they actually do fund foreign citizens as long as you've got the correct documentations to be in the country. They're always willing to assist in every possible way. So yeah, guys, don't just rely on Nsfas because you might just play yourself. You know, it's very tricky out there. We live in a very tricky world. Let me see if I left anything out. Yeah, and then like I said, if you want to find these bursaries, go to their websites. And also with some bursaries, you may be required to write motivational letters. Actually, you have to write motivational letters, but even after you're provisionally selected, You may have to write psychometric tests. You may have to write specific tests to actually check your English, to check if really your grades are what you say they are, and stuff like that. So yeah, and then also other bursaries that you can look into are sports bursaries. If you're good in sports, good in rugby, I know a friend of mine was sponsored by a bursary, a sport bursary, from high school all the way to uni, all the way to getting a job because they were good in sports. And then you can play more rugby, netball, and volleyball. So when you're in your first year of your studies, make sure that you spread your wings. Make sure that you do sports. Make sure that you're versatile. Make sure that don't just sit there and be a potato and just say I'm going to school and I'm coming back. Spread your wings, be versatile. But my key thing today is do not just rely on Nsfas, guys, okay? And do not forget to be love and light. Don't forget to share with your friends. If you have any bursary posts, any websites that you'd like to share in the comment section, share with other people, and get rid of the mind of being entitled, man. Just spread your wings. Just apply, try, and do the most, and do you. Do not forget to be love and light. Don't forget that God loves you. Happy Employment Wednesdays. I love you guys all, and I'm praying for you. I just forgot something. All the best to all the matriculants that are writing. All the best to the class of 2022. Just know that you're a winner. You can, and do your very best. Your best is what matters. You don't have to be number 1, number 3, number 5, but do the very best that you can. And remember that we're all here for you. We're all praying for you. All the best. And I know that you guys are going to do the country proud. Probably going to get 100% price rate.